Yes, beta.
Should we start, ma'am?
Yes, beta.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Aisha Rashid, and I belong from Pakistan. I am an intern at WomenAscension. That's a global organization dedicated to advancing peace, justice, and women's rights. It's an honor to be here with you all. Before we dive into today's important topic, let me tell you a bit about WomenAscension. So WomenAscension is a global cost non-profit organization that is working for the betterment of the society by outlining female issues and as well as targeting 17 SDGs in 81 different countries virtually by collaboration and humanities projects. It was founded in 2021 by Dr. Maheen Amjad. Within WomenAscension, we have a specialized division called WomenAscension Peace and Justice, Fostering Pluralism. This division focuses specifically on Sustainable Development Goal 16, which aims to promote peaceful and inclusive societies, to provide justice to all, to build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. In today's webinar, we will focus on the impact of the Gaza blockade on humanitarian aid and development. This is a very critical issue that affects millions of lives. The blockade has created severe humanitarian challenges, restricting access to essential goods, medical supplies, and development opportunities. We will explore the far-reaching consequences of this blockade, from immediate humanitarian crisis to long-term development setbacks. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to our distinguished speakers for joining us today. We are fortunate to have a panel of experts on this subject. Our first speaker is Sadaf Kamran. She holds a master's degree in mass communication. She is country representative of Pakistan at WomenAscension. She also serves as the public relations coordinator for an NGO. Additionally, she is an executive member of Positive Pakistan. That's an organization that is dedicated to youth empowerment and well-being. Sadaf is also the director of the school, Iqbaliyat. Our second speaker is Julizabeth Gonzalez. She is a dedicated advocate for Palestine and a committed parent and wife. As a passionate speaker and a blind person, she uses her education and her lived experience to help others to shift their perspective. Julie's mission is to ensure that individuals with disabilities, they can feel seen and can heard. She creates spaces where they can find community, they can find access to resources, and they can learn how to advocate for themselves or for their loved ones. Today's discussion will be a panel discussion format that will allow us to gain deep insights and explore potential solutions from these esteemed experts. We hope to understand not only the challenges that are posed by the Gaza blockade, but also the opportunities for humanitarian aid and development under these difficult circumstances. As we proceed, please feel free to ask your questions. We will address as many as possible. To start, let's hear from our first speaker, Ms. Sadaf Kamran. Ms. Sadaf?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yes, shall we start? Shall I start?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Today our topic is the topic is the international. I am talking about the international humanitarian laws and their aims and how effective is international humanitarian law is protecting civilians in the conflict zone like Gaza. Okay. So first of all, we have to okay, we all know about the Palestine or Gaza. So what the situation at there? So first of all, we have to provide the security and shelter, and we can see the international humanitarian law is totally failed to provide these rights to them. Okay, so if we're talking about the international humanitarian, what is the international humanitarian law? So the international humanitarian law aims to protect civilians in the conflict zone like Gaza. However, its effectiveness is often challenging, right? I think international humanitarian law relies on the state, and states should cooperate to implement the on this situation. So this enforcement mechanism are weak. Often international pressure is very limited. The presence of armed group within the civilians. The one major problem is that for the civilian is the presence of the armed group within the civilians are challenging in this situation. The people threatened, and it is against of peace. Furthermore, humanitarian access is frequently restricted, and political reasons and involvement, hindering the delivery of aid and protection of the civilians. We all know about the situation of young children, civilians, seniors, all people are very miserable. Even if you see their tolerance level, you can see you cannot sleep overnight. Children of Gaza are seeking our help. There are often no mechanism or very limited mechanism for holding violators accountable, especially in the context of powerful states. For improving, in my opinion, improvement could be made. First of all, the making enforcement stronger. For suppose creating stronger international organization and giving more power to the existing ones like NGOs or International Criminal Court, so they could help make sure those who break the law and rules of war and held responsible. And improving the access, improving the access for the creating more effective protocols for ensuring humanitarian access through the binding the international agreement, so could be aid delivery possible. This is the major issue in this time. And furthermore is the technological advancements. The using technology for better monitoring and reporting the international humanitarian law violation, so increase transparency and prompt action. But unfortunately, we see violation against humanitarian law in Palestine. International humanitarian should actively provide training to people or victim how lived and protect ourselves in the war situation, and actively provide rescue to local in conflict zone. Implement international humanitarian law principle can improve atmosphere, I think. And a very important tool is the political will. The greater political will commit, greater political will commitment from the international community to prioritize the protection of civilians and impose the section or other measures against the violators. It could strong the policies of effectiveness of international humanitarian law. I think this is the most important tools from my side to improve the humanitarian laws, and to improve the living situation in this war. And furthermore, and now next is the noticeable improvement in their life. I think the NGOs plays a significant role in this situation. Actually, NGOs nowadays, NGOs addressing the various needs and contributing to improvement in their lives. For suppose the health services, the education, the humanitarian aids, economic hardships, this is the major problem is there. And the psychological supports, uh, psychological supports psychological supports, and NGOs are trying to give psychological support. NGO offer counseling, children, especially children cope with the trauma. With it, my opinion, psychological support in Gaza are very limited, resulting from the ongoing conflict and difficult living conditions. They need advocacy and legal aid. NGOs should more focus on the advocate for human rights and providing legal assistance. I think in Pakistani NGOs do work in Gaza to improve the daily lives. These organizations are involved in the various humanitarian development program, but these are the limited for them, and often they are often in collaboration with the international NGOs, and local partners are helping to them, but these are the limited to them. They are not enough. I want to add on some organizations' name from the Pakistan's, the Al Khidmat Foundations and Eidi Foundations are many universities. Universities, they have been involved in the humanitarian activities in Gaza and other Palestinian areas. So they are facing many. The people of the Gaza are facing some psychological issues too. So I want to highlight some psychological issues because the advocate of the Gaza is also here. So I want to bring it in their knowledge. So there are lots of psychological issues in the Gaza. So individuals living in Gaza under prolonged conflict and blockade face numerous psychological issues. For suppose the post-traumatic stress disorders, exposure to continuous violence, bombing, and loss can lead to traumatic stress, anxiety and depression, adjustment disorder, sleep disorder, psychosomatic disorders are very common in there. Also, and substance abuses, child behavioral and emotional problems. We can elaborate, or we can learn about, we can know about their emotional problems. We should know about their emotional problems, and social and relationship issues. These issues are taken for granted by limited access to the mental health services. So thank you so much. I think I was audible.
Yes, Ata. Thank you for your input. We have lost Aisha for a while. I think I'm going to take the floor. Meanwhile, um, very important points, Mr. Dutt, that you have discussed, and some of the points that I would like to add is that during this time period, we see a lot of biasness. We see that the institute, which we used to believe that have power, are quite powerless right now because it's been almost a year and they could not able to stop it. It took them time to understand what's going on ground. So few of the questions that that comes in our mind is that some of them says that how common people like us can contribute. So here I would like to take the floor with one of the fellows and interns of Women Ascension Peace and Justice, if they can add up their feedback. From there, we will continue then. Anybody would like to add up? Please raise your hand so that we can unmute you. Yes, Mohammed.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So I would like to thank for this webinar because I really want to know more about this issue. So one thing is that we can spread awareness and we can educate ourselves. Also, we can pass on that information to others. So that's how we are going to create more emphasis on this issue. Personally, I believe that youth can play an important role as this webinar is in one of those examples. As ma'am has also said that NGOs can play their part because they are strong, they have they are stable, so they can put pressure on the government as well. So they could take action, literal action that would make a bigger impact. And the youth can play a part because I want to share an example. Recently, there was a concert at GCU Lahore, and there was coming these singers who were supporting indirectly this genocide. So students they pressurized their management and they canceled that event. So that's how we practically not just spreading awareness individually and with the being a responsible citizen, we can collaborate with the other fellow students and like-minded people to have on board, and what in our capacity we can do that. Like I mentioned the example of university students. Thank you.
Thank you, Maham. Very valuable input. Indeed, when we collaborate and we work unitedly towards any purpose, it takes time, but we get the results anywho. All right. So, Aisha Betty, would you like to take the floor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually, I'm having some connection issues here.
No worries. No worries.
So
Just yeah, turn off your video.
I want to thank.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. I want to thank Ma'am Sadaf for those insightful remarks. Unfortunately, our second speaker, Julizabeth, is not currently with us because of some time differences, but we are having her video, so we will play that video at the end of this session. For now, we are having a question answer session. So we are having some questions to our speakers.
All right, Aisha, can I play Miss Julia Beth's message?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
All right, that's great. Please let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see Miss Julie?
Yes.
All right. Please let me know if you can hear the voice as well.
Hi, my name is Julie. I'm a disability advocate and activist.
Can you hear her?
Ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, it's
Yes, ma'am, I can hear.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Julie. I'm a disability advocate and activist. I'm blind. And the question that I'm going to answer is, what are the most common psychological issues faced by individuals living in Gaza under prolonged conflict and blockade? And from what I've read, One of the most common things, I mean, there's a bunch of common things. People are going blind from the trauma. The amount of trauma that you have to actually go through to lose your sight and lose the ability to speak, because people are also losing the ability to speak due to the trauma. Other psychological issues, I would say, are PTSD. I read from the Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics that 2/3 of Palestinians were living with depression prior to this aggression. And overall, the lack of access, people end up disabled, permanently disabled. If you, again, reference the Palestinian Central Bureau of Statistics, there is a statistic that states 1/3 of Palestinians in a 2014 attack from Israel on Palestinians ended up with 1/3 of all injuries going on to become permanent disabilities. It's psychological torture. I mean, imagine small children that are trying to run around and they can't because there's no sense of safety, or the fact that there's always a drone playing. If you've watched any type of things that Palestinians post on social media, you will see that there is a lot of psychological warfare that goes on from the IOF. Things like quadricopters that play the sounds of babies crying, that play the sounds of people being hurt, which plays right into how kind and caring Palestinians are, that they would obviously go and check. The fact that we've seen multiple times that they are using dogs to inflict horrific torture against Palestinians, and they're training them to do that. The horror stories, I would think that the horror stories that come out of the countless concentration camps within Gaza would be something that causes psychological issues. And again, the overall lack of access to basic necessities. Are there any noticeable improvements in the daily lives of Gaza residents that can be attributed to NGO activities? I would say that UNRWA, which has been defunded by the United States on baseless accusations and unproven accusations, that if you know one thing about Palestinians, or if you've learned anything from Palestinians, is that they really value education and continuously learning things. And so not having access to that type of thing, just education in general, is very challenging. So UNRWA does provide that. They provide education. And also outside of NGOs, there's also Palestinians who take on this initiative as well, that they are setting up classrooms in their tents and teaching kids, anybody really, they're teaching people that are around. And I would honestly say that outside of the NGOs, the biggest supporters of Palestinians are Palestinians in Gaza. They are raising money for themselves. They are buying supplies for themselves and providing for their communities themselves. A lot of the efforts that you see in Gaza outside of places that are such as UNRWA is Palestinians, like mutual aid. And then the last one is, how effective is international humanitarian law in protecting civilians in conflict zones like Gaza? I don't think that Palestinians in Gaza are being protected whatsoever, especially with the very large role that the United States government has been playing in supporting Israel in their continued attack and genocide on the Palestinians. I don't feel as though Palestinians are being protected by humanitarian law whatsoever. What improvements could be made would be that the United States government stops their complicity in the genocide of the Palestinian people, that the international community steps up and in a big way and starts sanctioning Israel, and that the International Criminal Court of Justice stops allowing the United States to strong arm them into not being able to carry out the things that they need to do, such as the arrest warrants that they had for Benjamin Netanyahu, and actually standing by that, because that's the type of thing that would actually help Palestinians in Gaza right now, is the people that are responsible, such as the leadership in our governments that are failing every single day. If they were held responsible like they should have been 9 months ago, then Palestinians would not be in this position right now. And that's it. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this webinar.
All right, that was all from Miss Julie, and she's a very strong advocate for the people of Palestine. And I would like to add one more thing, that whenever we think about every solution can be sorted out when we have enough resources. That means if we have right capital, when we have capital, we have the independence, and then we have the power to actually do what we want to do with our life. We feel empowered. The same way it goes when you have to break something which goes wrong. So you have to stop supporting those products and services, those companies who are in line with this genocide. So you need to understand the cycle of economics and how you can play your role as a common person. So if you don't find any alternative, you can reach certain websites and you know exactly what are the alternative products, local products are there which you can use. And there are many sites, and one of them application is with the name of No. You can find it in Google Play. It's right over there. You can download it, you can contribute, it's free. It's in the way of website as well. So you need to understand this. When we are till sanctioning, we have to wait, okay? We cannot wait any longer if we don't boycott right now. So you need to understand, if we as a common person, what's in our power is to not put any penny in those organizations. We must do that. It's in our power. If we're not doing that, that means we are hypocrites ourselves. We're not doing right where we should do right. So if the people around you are not educated as a person, you must educate them. What is the right choice, right stand of this time? Humanity really counts. And this is not, and if you observe the regional commodities which is happening all around, it's literally everywhere. And if it ignites more, we are going to face unconditional war going on region, and it might spread everywhere. So as a common person, we should be wise enough to stop this. And if we don't do that, we all are in trouble in future. So these are my input that I wanted to share. So Ms. Lucas, would you like to share your point that you have stated? Would you like to share your point, Ms. Thamisang?
Sorry, yes, I was saying that in order to contribute as common people, then we need to raise awareness by sharing any documentation or post on social media to do with what is happening. For an example, I come across videos on TikTok from the victims who always advise us to watch the video till the end so that they can monetize from it, to share, to comment. It's just things. It's the little things that we deem unimportant that is actually helping them. Also, I think you mentioned about boycotting associated companies. That also helps. You know, we can always get alternatives. If you wanted coffee at Starbucks, for example, you can always get it somewhere else. So it's one thing about educating yourself about what is actually happening so that we're not just ignorant people. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much again. And I will try my best to put that website in the YouTube so that you can download that link and you can educate yourself, your circle as well. Ghazal Bita, would you like to input your feedback?
Yeah, ma'am. As an humanitarian acts, we can do wellness therapies, as I mentioned, and also giving them food and support, and whatever it's coming, we just have to work on our advertisements to promote better uh, actions for them.
Thank you, Ghazal. Thank you very much for your input.
Welcome, ma'am.
Dr. Mariam, are you with us?
Hello everyone. Yes,
Yes, Dr. Mariam. Your feedback, please.
mm,
We are just discussing, like, as an individual, how we can contribute to mold the society to push things to do towards right direction. So we are just discussing those points. All right, Dr. Mariam, we cannot hear you. Can we move towards Sabil?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. I would like to hear from Dr. Mariam, but if she's not available, I would like to include my comment and a question from you, since, ma'am, you're also active on that front, the advocacy front, if I'm not wrong, because I'm following you on social media on the LinkedIn, and I have been reading your articles regarding this issue that is going on. This question is majorly related to the policy front at the national level from Pakistan, since a majority of the third world Muslim countries are not that active, including Saudi Arabia, the Pakistan, and other Muslim countries. But if we are talking in the context of Pakistan, we are not supporting this cause. We are not supporting Palestine and the people of Palestine the way we should, given our ideological relations with the people of Palestine. Actually, we are taking a bystander phenomena. We are, to summarize it, we are just talking. It's all talks and no action. We are just talking on international fronts. We are just talking in the United States, but we are not doing anything on ground. So the question is, because we need to make the superpowers happy as well. So what policy we need to take regarding Palestine, where we can support the people of Palestine, their just and democratic cause, and also keep our relations balanced with the superpowers?
Sabil, very, very good question. Actually, we could have done more if our economic position was not shattered. So if you can observe that before the Palestine issue happened, if you understand the cycle, the Pakistan economy went down with political unrest. Yes or no? You can see that there was a change in not just in political ground, but also on the military grounds. Everything was reset. So at this moment, our policies are just to mind our business. Since we have taken a lot of loans from IMF, we are so busy with that, to maintain our position, to survive what's happening around Pakistan. Okay, so those countries who could have stand with Palestine, like literally on ground, are busy with their on-ground issues. Okay, and that's not just simple, it's very complicated. But what we can do at this moment as a Pakistani is, I have a right to voice on social media. They cannot stop that. That's in my control. I'm contributing on that. But if I go on ground, I'm not allowed to go because rallies are banned. Okay? So the thing is, the pressure is building because we are obliged to those countries, because we have taken economic support from them. So when your resources are dependent on the countries, you cannot do such. So as long as we are not financially independent, we are bound to do what they ought us to do. So this is the dilemma with us.
I can't disagree enough with you, ma'am. But the problem is, as you pointed some assumptions about the international effort, that why can't we do well on international forums? Because we are big, we are third world countries, we are facing crises, we need Western support in security issues, in economic issues, and the political instability and so on. But we are not doing enough at national level as well. And I have some practical experiences in this case. I was conducting a conference regarding this issue, the Palestine issue. It was, I guess, in December, right? The date was 6th December. My university was not allowing me to conduct that conference inside the university. And the date was approaching, it was 6th December, and literally, I talked to my chairman, the Department of Political Science, and she allowed me to conduct it at the Department of Political Science. And many of the people told me, if you're trying to conduct it outside the university, then the police officials may storm your conference. That was the situation. Even my university was not allowing me, and one of the director of the department told me that state is silent on this issue. Who the hell are you to do this and that thing? These were literally his words, and he was not even allowing me to do that conference in that department. Even I was going to pay from my organization for the venues expenditures, but he was not allowing me to do that inside the university.
So this is what I'm saying, Sabir. We are bound to listen to those from where we have taken resources. We are not allowed to talk about Gaza conflict, which they're saying. We cannot do that. And you have seen that there are many incidents in our cricket matches. There was Palestine flags, right? They were taken down. So we have restrictions because of the authorities who are training us what to do. So as an individuals, as a citizen of Pakistan, we should know where are the window where we can voice up. So you can write, you can create hashtags, you can speak more, you can write petition, you can create a global community which can link and collaborate with the universities or the students all around the world who are planning a campaign. Be part of that. That is the way we can do that. But on ground, it's very difficult in Pakistan because it's totally not allowed. So this is the real ground scenario in Pakistan, Sabir Beta. Okay. Ms. Sada, would you like to input?
Yes, I saw in Pakistan, if we see the collectively, yes, Pakistani NGOs do work in Gaza to improve their daily lives. These organizations are involved in various humanitarian and development projects, often in collaboration with the international NGOs and local partners. So, although if we can see the efforts, although these efforts are very limited for them, but if you can see the position of Pakistan, so we are doing a lot I saw lots of masajid, lots of universities. They are involving to helping and to helping them. So, and for if we are see the looking forward, so we can collaborate with other universities, with the Pakistani universities. uh, they can do work together for the Palestinians. So in Pakistan, I know some organization, and as I mentioned before, the Al Khidmat Foundation, AD Foundation, and other universities. I personally know the university like Bahria University in Pakistan, like Nust University, and NDU University in Pakistan. They are working for the Palestinian pupils. So um, they are working together. If we are looking forward to them, so my offer is we can collaborate with other universities. And the secondly, I want to add on some economic hardship in the Gaza or Palestine. So as they are facing the economic hardship, so NGOs are trying to meet this task. They are seeking supporting the people of Gaza. I mean, the people of Gaza are seeking supporting small businesses, and microfinance could help residents achieve economic stability and self-sufficiency. So this is my feedback. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Um, Aisha Bete, do you want to ask us any more questions?
No, ma'am, I guess that was all. So,
Okay.
in closing, I want to thank our speakers once again for their time and expertise. Your contributions have provided us with a deeper understanding of the impact of Gaza blockade on humanitarian aid and development. I also want to thank our audience for their participation and their engagement in this crucial topic. I would also like to express my gratitude to Ma'am Maheen Amjad and WomenAscension topic. We hope today's discussion have been very informative and thought-provoking, and we look forward to continue this important dialogue in future events. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you very much, Aisha, for conducting this research and webinar. And also, my request would be in the end, please try to educate yourself about how this conflict started. But basically, it's not a conflict. It talks way more. It started way before than 7th October. So you need to educate yourself, read, and discuss. If you have any question, do ask. And the best way to educate yourself is self-exploration. This is the way you can learn more. And please boycott and take the stand. Have the dignity to stand with right. This is very important. So this is all from my side. Thank you very much for your input. We will copy all of your comments and we're going to share it with Ms. Aisha for her research. Thank you everyone one more time. Take care.